Okay, so everybody has to answer this question honestly, no judging. What is the most unnecessary thing that you have ever wanted just because of the brand? Honestly, I'll go
Oh,
first. And I feel I really wanted the Dior lip oil because it's from like Dior for some reason, because I have used better lip oils and I wouldn't say like the Dior, and I've tried out the Dior lip oil once and I wouldn't say that the texture is like, oh my god, beyond, and I wouldn't find it in any other brand. So I feel like I've just wanted it because it seemed aesthetic. That's it.
Crazy.
okay, so I guess we're exposing ourselves, but I really wanted Louboutins. I still do.
I mean,
Because
I already know mine, it's a Birkin. Have I ever needed one? Nah. And do I still want one? Yeah.
Okay, see,
I think
Saranya, what about you?
I
Yeah,
think for
Saranya, go on.
me, the Louboutins, yeah, I mean, they're just so tempting. I think for it's like a corporate girly staple. I mean, if you're up there, it's like you have a pair of Louboutins that you can kick. It's like so nice.
Exactly, like it's just the heels, like it's on top. All right, so see, exactly, but that's our entire point, that half the time we're actually not buying the product, we are buying what it says about us. We're just buying it because of the way it makes us feel actually owning that particular product.
because let's be honest, if Hermes changed its name to like, I don't know, Rajesh leather bags, no offense to Rajesh, okay,
No,
would
I
anyone still be
swear
fighting over the waiting list?
there is so much offense taken by every single person named Rajesh right now, I
I
swear.
know, no offense to anyone named Rajesh. Okay, this is not directed to.
And the thing is, if Louis Vuitton sold the exact same bag without the logo, would people still spend like thousands on it? Would we like be like, we would be like, nah, maybe not, It can go to hell.
Exactly, and that brings us to today's question. Is luxury becoming more about perception than quality? Because somewhere along the way, luxury stopped becoming about craftsmanship. It became about status, identity, marketing, and maybe like a really, really expensive logo.
Okay, and honestly, we could not think of a better guest for this conversation.
Today, we are joined by Saranya Bhattacharya. She's passionate about business, marketing, and consumer behavior, which means she probably understands why we're all so easily influenced, and she's super perfect for this conversation. So, Saranya, welcome to Further Plot.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And I think the first time I came across For the Plot on LinkedIn, it's just I stopped scrolling because I saw the name of the podcast and I was like, this is so cool. And I'm so excited to be on here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's start simple, When you hear the word luxury, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Money.
Money.
Crazy. Okay, so what about a brand? Like Gucci, Coach, Louis Vuitton, Chanel. Does that come to your mind?
Yeah,
I
stuff
mean,
like
the
YSL and stuff.
Armani.
Yeah. But
first thing that comes to mind is just like money, and then you narrow
Yeah,
down into brands.
yeah,
it's
but
first
have you noticed something? Nobody has heard quality over here. Why do you think is that?
because I don't
Oh
know.
my god! Because no, because the thing is that over time, luxury has like it's changed from like have providing quality to more on the sides of status,
Mhm.
money, pricing, and like expensive. So the moment you hear luxury, the first thing that goes to your mind is how expensive it is. Nobody's thinking about quality at first. Okay, like the most expensive products that you are seeing out there are not the best quality. Okay, they're made in China. Okay, like that's just the bare truth.
Bro,
No, but like, no,
Maybe
I'm genuinely saying that those products are
they're
manufactured
probably
and they're
made
just
for like, I don't know, $10 or something. And they're sold for like 1,000 or
Yeah.
10,000.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I think the best example of this that I read up on, we're talking about Louboutins, and there's this very popular phrase, paint the town red.
Yeah.
And it actually came from how the red bottoms they graze on as you walk on to any surface, and that began to be seen as complete girl boss energy. You're painting the town red as you're walking all over, but it is a very clever way to market the bad quality of the red bottoms. Nobody really gets that because when you have a pair of Louboutins, you're focused on the fact that you have a pair of Louboutins and not the fact that the bottoms are going to graze all over in a matter of a few wears.
You know, this actually brings me to something else as well. What
Oh my
makes
god, I
what like makes something luxurious? As you said, that Louboutins, they have that red bottom, and that shows girl boss energy, corporate girly. But does but like what's something that it like makes something look luxurious? Like, oh my God, this is wealthy, and only wealthy people can use it. What's that something that shows? Saranya, would you like to like go
I
ahead?
s- I swear I swear I'm so passionate about this conversation right now. I just have so much to speak suddenly. I just want to speak. No,
I mean,
really.
it
Okay,
please
yeah.
shower
Let's
us
go
with
through the
your
question you.
I think it's exclusivity because when someone has that thing where they cannot get something, that's when it really gets famous
Yes,
because
that's
more
what I was
people.
thinking. Like luxury is something that not everyone can have. It's something exclusive, something expensive. It's like only like
Yeah.
a minority of people can afford. I think that's exactly why people want it, It makes people feel special and powership. But now even if I think about it, even craftsmanship and quality, like are they better? I think sometimes, but if you like see people pay thousands for something and you're gonna expect something amazing only. Like sometimes the quality absolutely justifies the price. Sometimes you're paying 80% of the name, but at the end of the day, luxury still exists because there are people willing to spend that money. And I think that's okay. Everyone spends their money differently at the end of the day.
But the thing is, I feel like the one thing that makes a product luxury, and it's all about how the product is placed.
Hmm.
How it's being marketed to the people, how it's being placed in the market, and how it's attracting people towards the product. Because the way you are pitching the product, right, and the way your target audience and the person who you are targeting it to just makes like the entire difference. Personally, for me, is what I'd say for this one. Saranya, what about you?
I think I would say that the status of luxury, absolutely gatekeeping and that feeling of exclusivity is what keeps things luxurious. So yesterday I was reading up about this caviar club. I think it's called the Caspa Club. I have to look up which club it actually is, but it's an exclusive caviar club where people can get a membership to learn about caviar, the etiquette of eating caviar, and to people like us that sounds absolutely insane,
I know.
but to a person who has a membership there, for them it's like they're into navigating those kind of social circles. So at the end of the day, it's not really about the caviar, it's about the circles that that entire club is getting them into. So absolutely, it's about the exclusivity.
I
People are
really
like,
love the
I
example
know.
for exclusivity. Like genuinely, like if you have that money and you have that passion towards like caviar, of course you're gonna go spend money
Yeah,
towards it. No shit.
absolutely. Like, so if a person knows the difference between or if a person knows that you're not supposed to have caviar with a metal spoon and you're supposed to have it with a mother of pearl spoon, otherwise you'll end up breaking the caviar pearls. That's exclusive knowledge. Not everyone knows that. So that sort of thing.
So
And
does that
another
That
thing,
was that was that was a,
That was a really good
yeah,
example. I'm still like
I was
processing.
yes, I was literally just gonna say that it was such a niche example. Like, oh my god, I'm so blown.
it's just I think one more thing that I read up about, it's also about aesthetics.
Mhm.
Aesthetics have such a huge role to play in luxury branding. For instance, a few years ago, if we remember, this is a very out of pocket example. Kanye West's condo was designed to be this very dystopian, minimalist, white apartment. It was like all over the news because back then, luxury was about control. And when you have white couches and you've got white walls, it's like, you've got family, but you've got your priorities straight, and you can afford to have a white couch that is not stepped on and stained. So that white and that minimalism, all of that geometry represented control. But now there is a new shift in that luxury, and all of these lifestyle magazines that you're going to see, you're going to have exposed brick, you're going to have lived in sheets, and you're going to have people with niche hobbies, like people spend their weekends, doing pottery or going horseback riding. So now luxury is not about control or symmetry. Luxury is now there's a new shift, and when you flex that you've lived a life, when you can flex that your life is lived in, you have niche hobbies, you have a full, colorful life. That is now luxury. Having time is now luxury.
So now, does that mean that if you're gonna buy something expensive, does that like automatically means it's better? What do you think? Like if I buy something expensive, does that automatically mean, I have the best thing ever? If I eat in a very expensive restaurant,
No,
best thing
obviously not.
ever.
I definitely don't agree to that, because not every expensive product is worth the money, and not every single one of them have the best quality, and some products are just overpriced, and not it doesn't, like, for example, if you're just dining at a fancy restaurant, that does not always mean that you're going to get the best quality of the food out there. You can It's someplace else, you can pay a lesser amount and still get better food and like a better taste. But on the contrary, when you are paying a lot more, you are just not going to get that. So money always does not justify what you are getting. Like, the amount you are paying is not always direct.
I think we're also conditioned to believe that, in our society, that our brains automatically go, if we pay something for a lot, they'll be like, oh, it has to be better. But that's not always
Yeah,
true, of course, because there are affordable brands as well, which make amazing quality products. And there are luxury brands charging ridiculous prices because they know people will buy them anyways. But also, I won't lie about this, but like sometimes when you pay more, you genuinely do get incredible craftsmanship. Okay, you get better materials, you get better service, you get better durability as well. So I don't think price itself will automatically equal quality. Sometimes they do go hand in hand together. I mean, you have to believe that in one way as or the other.
I agree.
The question that you brought up actually brings up a very, very interesting concept because luxury is actually all about psychology. And if we talk about luxury consumers, you can break them down into two main segments. So one would be the 0.1%, the uber rich, okay? And these people, they've got an unprecedented amount of surplus and they need to spend it to validate their hard work or their heritage. So if you come to generational wealth, people will obviously spend more to show that they're part of a particular lineage. And their purchase, the main thing is that their purchase must absolutely feel worth it. And the second type would be like us, people like us would be broad consumers, or you could call them dopamine chasers. So if I have a temporary disposable income and say I get a bonus or a salary hike, and to feel good I'm going to go and buy something, like a bag or something, it's going to give me this temporary visceral feeling. It's going to make me feel good for a little bit. And these kind of people like us, if we at all resort to buying luxury, we buy luxury just to feel that dopamine rush and to start, to get people to perceive us a little differently.
That's genius marketing, at this point. And like, that also brings us to another question over here. Do these luxury brands actually sell products, or are they just selling identity or status?
But to what Saranya mentioned, I definitely like to say that how she was talking about the two types of customers that are actually being there, right? One of them is like the top 0.1%, as she mentioned. Other than that is the broad consumer. So I feel like both of them purchase those luxury items with like a really different perspective from their own end, right? Both of them are going with like a really different mindset towards the brand. Somebody wants it to increase their status, and somebody wants it to look more premium, and they want themselves to have like a more like rich image in the society. Whereas somebody else is just spending money because they have a lot of it and they just want to spend
Yeah,
it
maybe they just
because
like
they
feel
want to get
like
more products. Exactly, they just want to spend it for the plot, right?
Or
So
yeah,
that's what it is.
luxury brands as well nowadays, they're selling the feeling, as you said, psychology. They're using the psychology of like feeling, it makes a person go like, oh, I've made over here, I've come to this part. Because nobody buys a Birkin just to carry their phone in, they buy it because they know what it represents. Some do it with Rolex and do it with Ferraris, some like some other luxury brand. So I don't think people are just buying leather, they're buying the story, that image, the lifestyle which they really want to embrace.
yeah, and I think all luxury brands.
Honestly, to add on to your Birkin example, to
Okay, so like, okay, go
wait,
on.
can
Can one of you go
okay, one
ahead?
sec, can you hear me?
Yeah,
No, can you hear me? Because I feel like my network is lagging a lot right now.
you are though.
You are lying so
No, but
much.
that's what I'm asking. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, we can.
Is it fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, so I am, yeah, to add on to like the Birkin example, I was like definitely gonna say that, people don't buy the Birkin just because, they just want to like actually hold a few items and they don't want a bag for that reason. People actually consider Birkin as an investment, right? Because of the fact that if you sell the bag 10 years later, you're gonna make 5x the amount. So people have considered it more as an investment and not just like, a quick spend. And like, it's not like a quick spend. You are paying a hefty amount of money in order to get a Birkin. There is a huge wait list. You are doing it all for the experience. You are doing it for the result that you're going to get later, right? You plan to own that Birkin for 10, 15 years yourself. You want to pass it on to your daughter, or you want to pass it, or you want to sell it when the value has like 7x. So people are not just
No,
buying a Birkin
but the
because of the
thing,
fact.
Okay,
It's
but I think here that's like a really important thing. Most, actually, all of the luxury brands, they have this story behind it. Like, think of any luxury brand, you cannot find one that doesn't sell something to you like a story. Like, there is not a single one.
always. But what about
Yes.
Ranchi's point as well, that you know about it, about the investment. This investment is only made by 0.1% of this entire population. Not
no,
everyone,
exactly.
we middle class people, let's say upper middle class, let's talk about them. We will make investments with gold, mutual funds, or even SWP. We won't make investments with Birkin. We won't be like, oh my god, today's your birthday, I'll go buy your Birkin. That's not happening in our, of course, in our Indian society mindset over here. So I think that's really to a
No, exactly.
small percentage of our
Yes,
population.
yeah, definitely. Only like as we were talking about the 0.01%, they are the only ones who are likely to spend that much amount on a bag, specifically like a Birkin being so expensive. And they're the only one who's actually going to look at it from the perspective of having it as a long-term investment and getting a return on it. Yep. Saranya, you wanted to go ahead?
Yeah, the point that you guys, I think Zara was speaking about previously was selling an experience. Are they actually selling the product or are they selling an experience? And Amelia also said every brand behind it has a story. So, for instance, we were talking about Birkins, and that reminded me the person after which the Birkin was made, Jane Birkin, right? She, if you go on the internet, you're going to find these absolutely gorgeous candid images of her with a bag chock full of stuff, like with a bag chock full of stuff with keychains and scarves. And now if you look at celebrities with a Birkin, it just looks so plain. It's just to go with the outfit.
Yeah.
Uh, I just felt like I think again this brings me to the point that of course brands do sell a story. There is definitely a story that makes a brand sell. Also, they do sell an experience. So, for instance, there's this brand called Jacques Marie Marge, and they sell sunglasses. And you will not believe how insane this is. Now, if we want to go and buy sunglasses, we're going to probably have an order on Amazon or go step out to a mall and get ourselves a pair of glasses. But for somebody who buys from Jacques Marie Marge, they get a one-on-one consultancy for a pair of glasses, and they get authenticity papers for said glasses. So, say for instance, now this is such a stretch, but if I go in tomorrow to a Jacques Marie Mage um, store, and then I get a one-on-one consultation to see which glasses will fit my color. What do you call it? What do you get? That color analysis. What was
Fair
that thing
enough.
Shade.
called?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you get a consultation and you get papers that verify that it's real Jacques Marie March. So it's crazy. They do sell an experience. Brands absolutely do sell an
So
experience.
Saranya, what is
That's
your
how.
Oh
take?
my God, too.
Go on, go on.
Yes, I was just gonna say to like, the brand that you mentioned, Saranya, I'm pretty sure you've heard of Van Cleef as well. I feel
Yeah.
like they do something a little bit similar because you cannot just walk in into a Van Cleef store and actually buy a Van Cleef. You have to book an appointment through their website and you have to
Yes,
select
yes.
a time, you have to call them, and then you have to go into the store, and that's only how you buy a Van Cleef. So the whole thing is like a huge experience, it's not at quick availability anyhow. There is like a whole experience and a whole process that goes behind you obtaining the one particular product.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
So Saranya, what is your take on this now? It's like it's a hot take, okay? It's a tiny little hot take. So luxury today is mostly marketing. Do you agree or disagree?
I would like to explain this with like an iceberg analysis. So previously, this difference between old luxury and new luxury. And Old luxury was all 99%, I could confidently say 99% quality and 1% noise being all the marketing, because there was actual quality there. People went there because they had that money to spend on that quality. But now we're at a point where it's 99% noise and 1% quality. So you're going to have all of these brands, and they will all rely on these grand collaborations. I forgot the name of the brand, but there was this one brand that sold out on winter coats because they had a collaboration with ASAP Rocky. And they were just normal winter coats and normal neutrals. But because people saw that, oh my God, ASAP Rocky marketed this thing, it sold out like hotcakes. So again, when you see the name ASAP Rocky, or you see a Drake collaboration, or you see some any whatever whichever celebrity you're a fan of, you see them with in tie with a product, you obviously you're like, oh my God, and you don't think twice about what kind of quality that money can get you.
But honestly, I do
So
respect this as well, because luxury brands have master psychology, just like you said, they know how to create that demand in the economy. They know how to, make people feel like owning something changes how they are. And like you said, that's branding, that's marketing. It's like the person who comes and it's clearly working, because people queue outside stores nowadays. They join even waiting lists, they join appointment lists, and they spend thousands on products they won't even think about a week earlier. So that's incredible marketing.
like this point that you mentioned, people lining up, what these luxury brands are doing is that they're selling patience to an incredibly impatient world. We are always moving constantly. And if we talk about like aged wines or cheeses, these are all very expensive luxury foods, but we are paying for those years. You age wine, we're paying for those years. All of these bags, you have, like Crunchy mentioned, you've got a wait list. You need to book an appointment. You need to have a day when you're free to go in, sit, listen to the consultancy, sit through the consultancy. So these brands are selling patience to an incredibly fast-paced, impatient world, and that's what is making them different. That's what is making them stand out.
I think social media also has a toll on this, like now.
Nowadays,
Go on.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, like social media has turned luxury into content as well. People just don't like own luxury anymore. They post it. They make what's in my bag nowadays. I think you must have seen on Vogue, Alia Bhatt makes those what's in my Gucci bag. And then from there, people are like, oh, if Alia Bhatt has a Gucci bag, even I want. But I think that's genius marketing as well. They make an aesthetic brand around it. And I don't think trends, like you said, people are moving very fast nowadays. Like trends change in like a few days and few weeks. So I don't think trends like quiet luxury would have expanded without social media constantly talking about them.
No, but I think for
Also one thing to
less about trends.
Yeah.
Like luxury is more of like it's more of a long game that the brands play when you're going in terms of like luxury. They think ahead. They don't just think of like the short term and how they can just like make the most money out of the trends going on. They have their own style and they probably will not shift from that.
Great.
Yeah, and also one more thing to add on to Saranya's point being like how she mentioned, wait list and like not wait, I mean like the huge lineups outside stores. So I feel like brands have like nowadays there is so much hype for brands, okay? Like people are genuinely ready to stand in a queue for 1 hour, for 2 hours just because they want the product. The hype has been created to such level, like the way it's being the content, the brand content, or like the way it's being marketed on social media, people are actually willing to spend their time. They're willing to go out, take out the time, wait in that queue specifically just because they want to try it out for the name, even because of the brand name. Like, I don't have like a luxury example in mind right now, but if you look at Magnolia Bakery, like the New York one, it just opened in India. And there was so much hype around it. Okay. People were lining up in cities like Gurgaon for like an hour or two, just to get in to Magnolia and try their desserts. So I feel like that was like the entire hype build around, the what's the brand and like their product. So there is so much, like people are genuinely willing to spend their time just because of the name of it and just because of like the whole hype.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And if I would come back to the point on the social media bit, now social media, like your topic says, it's all about how people want other people to perceive them. So on social media, like I spoke about lived in luxury, where people are trying to purposely show that they have a full life through very niche hobbies, through crumpled sheets. You've got a lovely mess with like a dozen lip glosses strewn all over, and you're like, oh, it's I woke up this way, that kind of thing. So social media also proves that right now we view lived in comfort as proof of the fact that you have an interesting life. And so, yeah, that was, I think, what I wanted to add to the social media point. And as for this, yes, there are some names people automatically read. If anything is associated, this is actually interesting because even when Popeyes came to India, I think Popeyes and Wendy's came to India, people were very excited purely because it was Popeyes and Wendy's. But there's no guarantee that the quality is the same as the Popeyes and Wendy's back there in the US. Just the brand. That's crazy marketing.
So now to wrap it up all, so do you think if nobody could see the logo, about like what you're wearing or what the food you're eating, or like as Franchi has said, like Magnolia Bakery, would you still go to that bakery? Would luxury still matter? Like if they did not have that logo just stuck on it, would you still go?
See, I feel like luxury has, a certain, there are different types, okay? Some luxury genuinely has really good quality, and I feel like for that people would go. But if it's just a brand that just has a logo stamped on it, and if that logo is taken away and then that brand is nothing, I feel like obviously no one would go and spend that ridiculous amount of money on it.
I mean,
That's
honestly, like, yes, Saranya, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with the point. You can, yeah.
Yeah. So, honestly, if I had to answer this question, like, I would still be buying the brand because no matter, like, right now, whatever the products that I have or whatever I use, I genuinely don't have them because of the logo. I don't have them because of the brand name. I have it because I liked something in their design, or I liked how it looked, or I just liked the actual experience. I did not buy it just because I wanted to flex a logo, right? So I feel like if we as people are going into the intention of liking the particular product and buying it because we truly enjoy it, and that is our preferred style and design, is why we would still continue to buy it. But if somebody is going into the brand just to buy that for their logo, for them to have, like, like a better image, and for like people to think they're rich, they're famous, just because of that fact, then the people who are buying it just for the logo to flex it would definitely stop buying from the brand after the logo does not exist anymore.
It all boils down to the psychology again, all about perceptions. I mean, if I want people to view me, of course, as like Pranchi said, more important, or as somebody who is doing very well in life, of course, the brand, the logo stamped on the bag, the Gucci or the LV or the YSL on the bottom of my heels, it's going to matter. I am going to look for those purposely. But if I'm a consumer and who genuinely needs something, if I'm consuming because I like something or because I need something, then of course the brand won't matter. But in a world like ours where we care so much about what other people think of us, these logos matter. And that is precisely why these luxury brands still exist and they're still held in such prestige.
But I honestly don't think it would matter that much because I think nowadays, if we go to like a community and, we see people buying third copies. So because like, let's be real here, people also buy fake luxury bags because they want the logo, they buy those fake third copy Coach bags. And sometimes you also are in a dilemma that is that real or is that fake? Because there are such good copies of it because they tell you that stitching is amazing, they tell you everything, and that logo carries so much value nowadays that people want the appearance of luxury more than the luxury itself. And I think that's really interesting with this.
Oh, wait, also one thing,
Gene.
one thing to what you just said, like people buying third copies, right? People also end up buying those third copies because they like the original design, but they're not willing to pay so much. They don't want to pay so much. They just like the design, and some people end up going for that. Like there's two type, like some people buy it because they want the logo, right? They want to flex, they want to show it off. Whereas some people just end up liking the design of like the particular luxury item, and they know that they're not willing to spend so much. So they just go for a third copy instead to satisfy what their wants are.
But I think luxury was never about just quality, like Saranya has just mentioned. It's always about being about perception. Once people perceive something as valuable as it is, it almost doesn't matter what the product is anymore. So that's a wrap. Thank you so much, Saranya. We love talking to you. This was such an interesting conversation. I think this is like one of the
I swear
This
yes,
is
you have so much.
the most interesting conversation.
Exactly. And I feel like this has had like one of the most knowledge ever. Like you have so much ball knowledge about what you were talking about.
Really
So we were
cool.
so glad to have you. And I swear all of us learned so much. Like we've definitely gotten like a lot of new perspective on this. So thank you so much for joining us. We really loved having you.
I loved the conversation so much. I mean, if anyone asks me about this, I'll be like, I've done a podcast on this, so I could just go and say that now. I'm so
you can't
excited.
do with this.
And
Absolutely. Stay
Okay,
tuned.
we need to call her again because this was like peak.
No, I swear, once we just need like an off the podcast call. We just like
Yeah,
want a
yeah.
yap. Just like
oh yeah,
not as a
absolutely. I am the biggest yapper in real life. I've had so many people like in my life. The people that are in my life, they know that I talk. So I am so happy. I was invited to talk. This is so fun.
Welcome. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
we'll
Bye.
see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.